Told you about the Trop, right? Tropicana Field, the damage that it sustained because of this hurricane. Yeah, this is a new vantage point.
Wow.
Yeah. That is looking down right there at the situation that we're talking about. Daylight video just showing you how severe that is as well. St. Pete Police Department sharing that. Also, this video, or picture I should say, still shot of the crane that had collapsed. You know, people questioning why it couldn't have been brought down. That takes at least a week. Mayor Ken Welch pointing that out in our conversation that we had earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to Tropicana Field, we know that during the height of the storm, that roof ripped to shreds there. The stadium, they're exposed. You can see just the studs remain. And we're going to be working to give you an update on when that recovery process can begin. It is going to be a long way ahead. We know they're in the process of a whole new stadium deal. We've been keeping you updated about that here on 10 Tampa Bay. We'll be letting you know how this impacts that as we move forward. But the main priority right now in Pinellas is cleanup. It is going to take time, and obviously we want to have power restored. People thought they weren't going to have access to water in Pinellas County because they had to shut down those water treatment plants, those sewer plants. Good news is Mayor Ken Welch telling us this morning that while they have a lot to clean up, water has been restored, so at least people can have some of that. For some of those people may not have access as parts of their homes may be dealing with damage from the storm.
Yeah, shout out to the officials out there with Pinellas County sharing that drone video. We know that they're busy with a lot of things right now, including water rescues, as we're dealing with massive flooding in some spots. Some of these parking lots looking more like a lake. If we have any of those images, I'd like to pull that up right there, because Pinellas deputies helping with the rescues that we were talking about. We saw Miranda Parnell out there earlier this morning. And telling us at least 100 people had been rescued.
That's what people want to see. They want to see the efforts underway by our local first responders, and it's good that they're putting out the video of it so we can show you, and you can see crews this morning with Pinellas County letting people out of their high water vehicles used to rescue people this morning, and that still continues. It's underway right now. What you're looking at is video, but that's happening right now as we're speaking.
Yeah, and the word that was used, Sarah, that really caught my ear, methodical. Right, so they've broken this down to a science. They have a play that they run every single time with this situation, so they're able to be extremely efficient with these rescues that they're operating right now as we see them, you know, in some of this video. This is not live, but in some of this video we grabbed just a few moments ago, rolling through the parking lot as deep as they can, then pulling that boat off and successfully floating through that parking lot. Some of those vehicles completely submerged because of the floodwaters. The unit that Miranda was at least 2 stories, maybe 3, she said, but at least 2 stories, and some of those people waiting out on their terrace for hours just to be rescued.
Yeah, we're getting some information from Pinellas County. I know that it is such a welcome sight for so many people.
Yeah.
As more than 100 people you had said rescued, 50 people are still, at least at last check, we're still waiting to get the help from the deputies to be able to get out of their homes. We're also getting some information that they have some downed power lines, specifically Park Boulevard near the flea market. So if you are going to be driving through that area, it may not be an area that you can drive through. We had some pictures of it earlier. Just not good right now. Warning people to stay off the roads. Access to barrier islands now open, but again, still portions of Clearwater dealing with those flooding conditions.
And as you mentioned, those power lines right there, Sarah, Governor DeSantis also talking about that with us this morning, talking about the down power lines to avoid this because of post-storm fatalities, as he phrases it. Power lines down, trees tangled in lines, don't approach that. You don't know how severe that situation is. Also, storm waters. We just showed you that right there. And then the bacteria. Sometimes you can't see what's floating around in that water. We had a graphic that we showcased a little earlier just to kind of further illustrate how severe that situation is. And then the generator, because we talked about the power outages, so properly using that generator, not using it inside your home.
Yeah, a lot of people probably just now breaking out the generator as they're dealing with these power outages. We're also going to be getting some video out of Orlando. We know as the storm moved from the Tampa Bay area, it then went towards the Orlando area, towards the east, and they were dealing with flooding conditions in Polk County and some power outages there. We were checking with Miguel Octavio earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Here's a look at what we're seeing there.
Yeah, so you can still see the wind doing its part with the situation as well as we grabbed that before the sun. completely showed itself around 7:30 this morning. But a lot of debris in the roadway there. A similar scene. You can expect this across many parts of the state. Debris in the roads, flooded roads, ponding, right? So it doesn't take much to cause a problem. We're going to get back to Jennifer Titus down there in Bradenton. Jennifer, can you hear us? Good morning
I can hear
to you.
You guys. We are just by the bridge that takes you off of Coquina Beach there, guys. It is closed now to residents and non-residents, all traffic. But good news, I just learned that they are going to let us go over there. So we are going to be able to show you what those beaches look like within the next half an hour, I would say. We'll make our way over there. I asked, what are you guys hearing? They said storm surge was not an issue, and that is great news for anybody on the barrier islands here in Manatee County that were already so devastated by Helene. That was everybody's big worry. They do say that there is wind damage out there, so when we get over there, we'll try to see and assess the damage for you guys and show you that. But take a look at the wind damage here in the Cortez Village neighborhood of Bradenton. Roofs just ripped off some of these homes. It's basically like every other one of them. A roof is ripped off. We talked about, remember all the debris that they could not pick up in time? You can see that the wind definitely picked up some of that debris there, guys, on the ground, and that was such a worry, and why there were so many evacuations in place, because not only was it the wind that was going to be flying around, it was what the wind was going to bring with it, those projectiles. And so you can see that some of it was moved. We have roofs that are off, and we have lots of down trees, lots of debris, lots of down power lines. There is no power in this entire area of Northwest Bradenton, and that's why they're asking anybody that can stay home, stay home. The roads are not safe yet. There is so much debris on the roads, down to power lines. They want to make sure they can get that all cleared before you guys get out on the roads and you make it out here, because that's really the story here, guys. The story is the wind damage. That's what Bradenton saw. That's what Manatee County saw. I can tell you, I heard it myself. We were just a few miles down in a hotel and it was howling those 8, 9, 10 o'clock hours last night. The wind continued, the rain continued, so we did see some flash flooding in areas, but now we've heard that that has all receded now, and so now we're kind of just seeing that debris, we're seeing that roof damage all throughout the Northwest Bradenton area, up and down Cortez. You can see tree branches, you can see those power lines. So again, just why they are asking you if you can stay home, stay inside until it gets cleared up. But that's really the story, because I asked a firefighter, said, what are you seeing? And he said, that is it. It's that wind damage. It's the roofs that have come off, but we have not seen the storm surge, guys. That was predicted.
Yeah, Jen, that is the story right there. And with any story, the intrigue is the reveal. Not able to get over there just yet with the barrier islands, but I know there's deep concern about what you may actually encounter.
Yeah, and we're hoping, I was surprised that they're going to let us over there. And she said, no, we're going to let you over. So I'm going to make my way over there so we can give you guys just what's going on over there. Look, so many people have come up to us and asked us, hey, do you know what happened to the islands? Do you know how bad it is? You know, one lady was in our hotel and she lives on Anna Maria Island, and I said, did you lose everything for Helene? And she's like, yes. She's like, Milton couldn't really done anything more. We've already lost it all, which is just such a sad reality for so many out on the island. So we're gonna make our way out there to take a look at things. Like I said, we heard not really a storm surge issue, but there is wind damage. So we will bring that to you once we get out there.
Jen Titus, thank you so much. We're going to let you get to it and, of course, check back with you. This will come full circle. Be safe out there.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. All right, we want to give you some more information about damage across the Tampa Bay area and efforts to try to save people as well. We have some water rescues underway in Pinellas County. We're also getting some new information about some rescues underway in Hillsborough County as well. Sheriff Chad Chronister giving us some talking about rescuing people at a hotel in Plant City. Take a listen.
I tell you what, this had to get scary. They said they had water coming in up over their knees, and highly frightened. And you have someone who struggles here with some medical conditions. I imagine they were quite frightened.
Oh, yeah.
You say water up to his knees?
Yeah. And what's crazy about Plant City in that area is that so many people evacuated the coastal areas of the Tampa Bay area, and they were thinking, hey, I'm going to go further inland towards Plant City because it's safer. And you can see the extent of the damage, just some of it, just a brief picture from the sheriff's office of what they're seeing there. Again, they're asking people to stay inside their houses as they continue to survey the area. We have a huge county, folks, and a lot of people still are without power, and these crews are working as hard as they can. Obviously, a lot of them up all night to try to keep us informed ahead of the storm, and now they're working to assess the damage and save what people if necessary.
And Sarah, the initial thought, it completely makes sense in terms of getting away from the coastline, the battered coastline, as it's gone through a lot over the last couple of weeks. 2 major hurricanes, Helene, now Milton. But as you move further inland, I should say farther inland, there's also another threat right there. We talk about the tree canopy and those grounds already heavily saturated. We talked to Mayor Jane Castor about this. Take a listen.
Tampa has been recognized as having one of the best tree canopies in the world. And when you come to think of it, you mix tree canopies and a hurricane, it's not good for electricity. So they're going to do their best to get that up as quickly as possible.
Okay, so we're getting some information there from Jane Castor, our mayor in Tampa, telling us about that tree canopy and how they're working to restore power across the area. They're working as quickly as they can. Again, we are getting updates from city officials all across the Tampa Bay area. That was just Mayor Jane Castor, Sheriff Chad Chronister. And in just about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, around 10 o'clock, we're expecting to hear some new information from St. Pete's mayor holding a press conference, Ken Welch, at 10 a.m.
Yeah, we will stand by for that. Meantime, I want to take you outside because we tell you it is a team effort and we mean it. Okay, so we have Brevin, our engineer, who ensures that we remain on air on the horn there. I'm getting a little bit of feedback, but that is a vantage point at, let me see if I can point that out for you right there.
He lives in Brandon, yeah.
We're in the Oak Ridge neighborhood here in Brandon. Not a super low-lying area, but the water is very deep. When I first got here about 5:36 in the morning, it was pretty well waist deep. It's only about 6 inches down from there. You can see in the distance, it's up to the mailboxes. We couldn't go any further with the truck. It's just a grim look. Most of the people in this area, this is a flood zone X, so it's not. We didn't anticipate water. We prepared for wind. We boarded up. When I came to my house this morning, I didn't think in a million years I'd be pulling up to this, and I really think that most of the people here didn't either. Most of these people, didn't evacuate. A lot of these are, older families, people who are, weren't in a great situation to evacuate. And this is very, very surprising. When we ended up in the area, it was specifically because we were looking at the one flood in 100 years area.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely don't expect that, Brevin. You've never seen anything like this, right?
No. We've been here about 2.5 years. Water doesn't even really gather in the road. Like during heavy rains, it drains right away. We're 60 feet above sea level here. Just the torrential downpours. The water just has nowhere to go right around the road from here. Even aside from the water, it took us the better part of an hour and a half to get a route here, and we're less than a half a mile from Highway 60.
Well, I was going to ask you that for people who maybe we know Hillsborough County, Brandon, State Road 60, but where is that neighborhood in like what's a landmark or a staple that we would know to put a picture of for people who want to say like, hey, where is this in Brandon?
So we are at the crossroads of Kingsway and 60. So we're about, I would say, 3 miles down from the Brandon Mall.
Okay. Wow.
Brevin, I feel for you and yours and all the neighbors out there. When you finally arrived at this point, you described it as grim. How are you holding up?
We're very fortunate. My house specifically, the seal on the front door held, and despite there being a foot of water around the entire perimeter of the house, nothing made it in. Most of my neighbors were not so lucky.
Wow, that is incredible.
I've spoken to a couple of my neighbors here, and this morning I was catching up with the folks who live across the street. But we, as far as I know, still haven't heard from some of the others. I'm not sure if they made a last-minute evac or what, but you're very much still right up to the perimeter of these houses.
Yeah,
And as of right now, there's especially for these houses. Let me see if I can get a little zoom here. There's no way for these people to get out of this neighborhood as of right now. It's 3 feet going both ways at least, and like I said, I came by about 6 o'clock, and what is it, about 10 now? The water's receded 6, 8 inches maybe.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, Brevin, it is coming up on 10 o'clock there, and this is further proof that anyone can get it. This storm does not discriminate. You say the perimeter of your home, but, juxtaposing that with your neighbors and still trying to get in touch with folks, I can only imagine the range of emotions that one is feeling right now.
Oh, absolutely, man. As I was driving up, when you first start encountering the really deep water, and my truck is well lifted off the ground, so took appropriate caution, but I can go a little bit further than some others. But my heart was racing as I pulled up to the side street, and holy cow, you just look down, and you see that mailbox. That's what I could see from the other side, and it's practically underwater. That mailbox is 3.5 feet off the ground. It's the same height as this one.
Wow, unbelievable. Have you seen people out and about walking in that, or anybody saying anything? Obviously, you don't have power.
Yeah, no, there's no power here. I do have a couple of my neighbors behind. We're not super interested in being on TV, but seem to be in good enough spirits, I guess, all things considered. You got to make do with what you got at some point, and
As you try to process your grief there, Brevin, and you're staring at this image, and you're giving us a excellent vantage point as you pan across the way there. How do you even begin to move forward and figure which step should be the first step?
Well, I think the water's got to go away first.
Yeah.
Once we get to that point, it's just going to be tallying it up. I'm sure this is going to be a very well concerted neighborhood effort. Like I said, it's not even just this road. There's got some neighbors walking through my backyard. My backyard is actually currently the only way out of the neighborhood. I have to cut through another neighbor's backyard to get through there. But anyways, it's going to be a neighborhood concerted effort. I don't think this is going to be a toll felt by any individual. It's going to be a toll felt by communities and neighbors, and I don't think there's any other way through it.
Well, Brevin, we're rocking with you. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with this as well as your neighbors. Thank you so much for...
Absolutely appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, one of our engineers here, very talented, lives in Bradenton, giving us a viewpoint from his home as he was coming off of work, trying to get to his neighborhood, showing us the damage that we're seeing there. We do have a couple of updates for you across our Bay Area when it comes to roads, flooded roads along several of our streets here through Hillsborough County, but now our bridges are now open. Sunshine Skyway Bridge now opening within the last hour here, and Howard Franklin Bridge also open. Gandy Bridge is open, but the Courtney Campbell Causeway is still closed.
Yeah, we had the crews out there assessing it to make sure all is well. They got to it quickly, and so great news to turn right back around. I want to take you back to Brandon and show you some video that we just got into our newsroom. So you can see another vantage point right there. Clay Avenue in Brandon, blocked by 2 large trees. Neighbors are out there working to clear this, but this is also something that the governor said, listen, if you have the equipment to clear this, chainsaws, but you're not well versed at it, this is not the time to get the on-the-job fast training, because you can definitely hurt yourself.
No, and as you are waking up this morning and you're seeing some of the damage, some good advice for you is to document if you can. If you have any cell phone power left, document everything, because you're going to need that when you're trying to file with insurance. And it's going to be a long process ahead, but right now it's just about safety and making sure power is restored and getting a lot of this debris out of areas that are impacting people, the roadways, and getting people to hopefully a more normal sense of life here.
Yeah, craving a sense of normalcy. And again, if you're not sure what you're doing with that chainsaw, don't mess with it. Better to just sit still and stay out the way as crews are trying to get to people and clear damage like that. But that is just massive to seemingly have a forest fall on your home and your car.
And you live in those areas in Brandon away from the coast, and you don't necessarily, something people may be dealing with as well, is you don't necessarily get flood insurance because, as Brevin, our engineer, was telling us, we live in flood zone X. We don't flood here. Why do we need flood insurance? That's like an extra cost, and everything costs so much. So you don't want to spend more money than what you have to. So this is people are going to be coming back and realizing if they didn't have flood insurance, something else to maneuver and to work through. As soon as we get some information on how you can get the help needed, Governor Ron DeSantis telling us about some organizations and some companies across the Tampa Bay area giving to a fund to help people across Florida. We'll be keeping you updated on how you can get the help you need.
Now, we know you're probably not standing by with a pen and paper, but I want to give this to you anyway because, as you mentioned, one of those resources, I don't know if we have a graphic. Our team is busy putting a lot of stuff together right now, but that number 1-833-GET-HOPE. That's the operative word right there, get hope. Help following the disaster, looking for resources, connecting you with all the things that you might need to get to where you need to go and get that first step out there. The Hope Bus also going to make its rounds, as the governor mentioned as well, as soon as they can, of course, for some of those roads that are passable.
Well, we want to get a look at our forecast as well. I know you have cleanup on your mind, and is the weather going to be cooperating? Meteorologist Mike Prangley joins us.
We're all ready to just move, get moving, and I know we're all excited. We're not all excited, but we're just ready to get back to some normalcy, right, Frank? So we're trying to see our families. I miss my daughters. Yeah, so they're worried about that. I said, we're fine. Frank's doing fine. You got your family to get back to. Sarah, kids are doing well?
Doing well.
Okay.
Hubby too.
Just keep checking on each other. That's how we're getting through this. It's been quite a hurricane season. And we take a look, and hey, there's no threats out there. No matter what you're saying on social media, there's no immediate concerns here at home with any tropical threats. In fact, speaking of the tropical threats, Milton has now moved east of Florida. All right, so I'm sharing some good news with you. It's okay. We take a look at some showers, towards St. Johns County, Nocatee over to St. Johns and the East Coast. So I know a lot of folks evacuated toward Jacksonville and Daytona Beach, but these showers will start to move offshore as well. So some better travel, especially this afternoon. A little gusty winds with a high wind advisory, but that's about it. Now, we take a look closer to home. Not only do we don't have to worry about a high wind advisory anymore. We have some much lighter winds because we've got the backside of the storm coming in with high pressure. And as we look at what's going on, the question is, how did these retention ponds turn into lakes? I mean, this was not due to storm surge. In fact, most of us did dodge the worst of the storm surge, right? Well, this is what happened. You see a big, ugly yellow stripe with some red on the outskirts of it. And this was the northern edge of the system. As Milton made a move toward Florida, it had high wind shear, so it really stretched the system. So it had an unusual shape as it made landfall. So the north side of the system was just chock full of deep tropical moisture. So these amounts here are kind of conservative. Okay, you see 10, 13 inches towards St. Pete, Lakeland over a foot. But before all is said and done, I think we'll verify more like 15 to 20 inches in this stripe. So I talked about travel weather today. Be extra careful where you see the bright yellows and reds, even Interstate 95 to I-4 and all the way up to I-75. We just have to pack the patience. I know we're ready to go. I want to see our loved ones again. But hey, if we can be patient, we're going to get through this together. Now, we take a look at our October rain. One of the big reasons we had such trouble with the retention ponds, as Jenny Dean was showing us, check this out. This is amazing. So for Tampa, we were in a drought just about 3 months ago. Do you remember that? We are now 32 inches of rain above normal for the year. Just unbelievable. So for the year, 77 inches. Normally for an entire year, we average just under 50 inches. And then we've had, of course, 2 tropical systems in the last 2 weeks. So something had to give. And for the month, we're up to over 13 inches of rain. So basically for this tropical storm, think of it as this hurricane that impacted us as really about 2 to 3 months worth of rain. Pretty amazing, which we didn't need. And then we're checking on our friends to the south, Sarasota and Bradenton. And Jenny Dean, just heartbreaking things we're seeing down there as far as the damage and the surge they had, the wind. They had all of the extreme hurricane impacts. And unfortunately, yeah, you added the heavy rain as well. So for Sarasota, Bradenton, you're up to 77 for the year. I mean, pretty amazing, over 34 inches above average. So that's why it's going to take some time. I said, I know I'm all excited, ready to see my family again, and I'm sure you are. But again, we've got that weather impact alert continuing through 2 o'clock, impacts of flooding around the area like we've shown you, debris everywhere, and the rivers are rising, okay? And then we take a look at what we need to do, really kind of stay calm, stay put until we're given the all clear. And then tomorrow and over the weekend, sunny with slow improvements. Lakewood Ranch, checking it out. Boy, this time yesterday, we were just we were checking on friends and family, weren't we? And a lot of folks were still wondering, should I go? Should I stay? So another lesson that this storm taught us is we need to go when we're in an evacuation zone. And most of you did heed that warning, and I appreciate it. So as we look at Lakewood Ranch, a beautiful afternoon here that will include some blue skies. Lakeland, yeah, Lakeland, Polk County, we're out there for you. In fact, some folks in Polk County also evacuated. I talked to some folks in mobile homes, and they're always part of that evacuation because we had winds, even in Lakeland last night, close to 90 miles per hour. So better weather there. Channel 10, yep, we've got it. Back to St. Pete, some sunshine in the forecast. And speaking of sunshine, all right, we'll do this one for Mandy. She deserves a beautiful 7-day forecast.
We will get back to that 7-day. Thanks a bunch there, Mike. Want to turn back to Mayor Ken Welch, St. Pete Mayor, with an update on the situation. Let's go ahead and listen in.
The city is in the early stages of the recovery process and has been fully staffed here at the EOC for the last 24 hours to ensure that we could begin the rebuilding process quickly. As soon as it was safe to do so, our police officers began the first push of assessments around 3 a.m. this morning. We also currently have city crews conducting damage assessments and working to clear roads. While we were spared the brunt of this storm surge in this storm, we didn't achieve the level of storm surge that was predicted. We still have serious issues that we're working to address. The storm still brought approximately 18 inches of rain and some localized flooding. The storm also caused damage to our potable water systems, our drinking water systems, infrastructure, and power. But we're actively working to restore those services to residents as quickly as we can. I want to ask that you stay off the roads as our crews start the recovery process by conducting damage assessments. We really need folks to stay in place today and allow them to do that work. We're working as quickly as possible to make it safe for everyone to venture out. And I know folks are anxious to get back to their homes to check out damage and to start cleaning out debris, but please be patient. This is for your safety. The roads are very dangerous at this point, and crews are working to make them passable. The more space our crews have to do their work, the faster we can restore services to our community. Now, during the storm last night, we made the decision to shut down the northeast and southwest sewer treatment facilities to protect city employees and prepare for possible damage from storm surge and wind. As of this morning, I'm pleased to report that both of those plants have been brought back online. That means folks can start draining water in their home, like flushing toilets and brushing your teeth. However, due to waterline breaks, we also had to shut off drinking water last night around midnight. Crews have been out this morning making repairs to the drinking water system, and potable water is back on and may come out of your sink. As the system continues to pressurize, however, it's very important to boil the water before you use it. So we have issued a boil water notice. We're working to identify the location of the waterline break, and we have multiple crews conducting ground and aerial surveillance so we can repair the leak and fully restore services. And this is why we stress that folks should stay off of the roads, as city teams need that space to ensure we can restore services to residents as quickly as possible. In terms of electric service, we have nearly 400,000 people without power in Pinellas County right now. It will take longer to restore power, but we are working alongside Duke Energy to ensure that we can repair those systems as quickly as possible. Duke is working to bring crews in, but we just need everyone to be patient right now due to the impact and the number of outages that we are dealing with. This was an unprecedented storm with very high winds. The damage to the power system is more severe this time around. Many residents across our city team are impacted by this storm as well. So we're asking for everyone to be patient while these services are being restored. I do want to thank our local, state, and federal partners for the support they provided to us during this time. We've been in contact with them across all levels, and they've all been great partners who are focused on helping St. Pete rebuild. This was a storm that intensified quickly and gave us very little time to prepare. But we made it through the storm, we've started the recovery, and we will be successful. I ask that everyone continue to be patient and lean on each other during this time. Be a good neighbor, offer help where you can, and know that we will come back from this challenge stronger and more resilient than ever before. Thank you all. We'll now take any questions you might have.
Can you touch on the train incident in front of the central, the damage? I know no one was...
All right, listening in on Mayor Ken Welch right there, getting a little feedback. St. Pete Mayor Ken Welch, he spoke with us around 8 o'clock this morning. This is the backside to that update. He used the word, Sarah, unprecedented when it comes to this storm. Started searching and assessing the situation around 3 o'clock this morning. Some spots as much as 18 inches of rain.
Yeah, and so that's why they have areas that have localized flooding. They got a lot of debris-filled streets. He, at the end, was saying, giving people hope, saying we're going to get through this together, asking people to stay off the roads. Some good updates out of there. They turned off that sewer wattage, their wastewater system ahead of the storm, anticipating a potential for storm surge. And now, thankfully, because we didn't have as much storm surge, they were able to turn that back on, and people can now have their water. They can take showers, they can do laundry, you can flush your toilet.
Flush.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to do that. And as far as drinking water, he says that has also been restored, but it's not, you can't just drink it right out of the faucet right now.
Yeah, you've got to boil that. He's saying that you want to boil that. Boil water notice is what the mayor said right there. Also working to repair a water line leak. That has been the source of some of these problems that we're talking about. Nearly 400,000 people in Pinellas County without power, but Duke Energy working with him and the rest of his crew to get everybody back online.
And we had mentioned before the storm that St. Pete had a mandatory evacuation in Pinellas County for zones A, B, and C that impacted more than half of the residents who live in that area. And that means a lot of people were not in their homes. So today we were reporting more than 500,000 people forced to evacuate, or at least in that evacuation zone. So many people going to be returning home to deal with potential outages. So be patient, he was saying, because it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, searching for resources right now. A lot of people brought in to help with this situation, but some of those resources that he's hoping are innate, just in you. As you said, be patient. Again, stressing, be thankful, and he says be kind. You have to remind folks because, you know, tensions are high. People are stressed. Their livelihood is kind of shifted. A lot of people don't know the next step they're going to take. So, you know, those filters kind of fall. He wants you to be encouraged to be a good neighbor.
Yeah. We're going to get through this together. I know in times of distress, we see how our community steps up.
Yeah.
We saw that after the last storm, and I know we're going to see more of that this go around. It is just tough when you're dealing with it because it's where you live. It's near and dear to you. It's what you have. So we're going to be keeping you updated on what you need to know and ways to kind of get things back to normal for you. Okay, we're going to give you another look at some of what we've been dealing with for the past couple of hours here.
Yes, Sarah. So these are three things we want folks to know right now. Your time, 10:09, in case you're without power and you're trying to check the time there. 10:09 this morning, Thursday morning. Hurricane Milton made landfall, Siesta Key, 8:30 Wednesday night.
Yeah, or maybe you're watching from out of state. I've been getting a lot of that. A lot of people
Yep.
watching from out of state wanting to check on their loved ones, and this is what you got, our news feed. So thank you for joining us. If you're wondering, we've got more than 1 million people without power all across the Tampa Bay area. We were just checking in St. Petersburg. They've got a lot of people, Bradenton, coastal areas, a lot of people without power. Hillsborough County, more than 72% of people in the Tampa area, Hillsborough, without power. And in Pinellas, we've got water rescues underway.
Yeah, staggering numbers that you pointed out right there from Helene, and now with Milton, that to some people a knockout blow with the resources they have. But as you're talking about the rescues, we were chatting with Miranda Parnell. This exchange went on for some time as we were looking at some of those rescues happening live. Some of those cars in the parking lot of apartments underwater,
Off
submerged.
of US 19 in Clearwater, also having water rescues underway in portions of we've already mentioned Pinellas, portions of Hillsborough County. Sheriff Chad Chronister showing us a video of the crews out trying to help people impacted by water there.
Yeah, want to do this right here. Get back to Brandon because Jenny Dean has a look at the situation out there. Jenny.
I'm on Valrico Road, which is just off State Road 60 in Brandon-Valrico area, and just look at the massive flooding in this low-lying area, and you can see the car down there all the way up to the windshield. I just talked to the woman who was driving that car a few hours ago when she got stuck, and she didn't want to go on camera and do an interview, but she told me she could still see the roadway. She thought she was okay, and then all of a sudden she wasn't okay. And she said she had to get out and start swimming, started screaming for help. In a nearby church, people heard her and were able to come out and help her and get her to safety. So a harrowing experience for the woman that was driving that vehicle. And of course, it's going to be a while before this road is passable here in the Brandon-Valrico area. Again, this is Valrico Road, just off State Road 60. In Brandon, Jenny Dean, 10 Tampa Bay.
Amazing what you can do when you work together. I want to get back down to Bradenton because Jen Titus is joined by the police chief. Jen, I know time is tight as he's working to get some of these rescues taken care of. Let's go ahead and listen in on your conversation right there.
Hey, good morning, Frank. Yeah, it's the first time we've made it out to the beaches. I'm going to bring in Chief of Police of Bradenton Beach, John Cosby, with me. And John, it was a different situation than we saw with Helene, right, Chief?
Yeah, we were fortunate. The storm, the center of the storm went south of us, so we did not get the storm surge that we were anticipating. So everything stayed pretty dry, but we did have a lot of wind. We do have a lot of roofs that were blown off. We do have a couple of structures that were compromised and knocked off of their pylons. And then we have a trailer park that had stayed, the structures stayed together. They did flood, but now the face of the structures that face the intercoastal, they just ripped them apart. So now all the contents are exposed.
This is the last thing that the beaches needed, was any more devastation.
Yes, I was listening to, I can't remember what the title is, but he was saying that every beach, basically on this coast has been compromised from the last two events.
Where do you guys go from here? I mean, this is not just the place people call home, it's also the place so many of our viewers come to visit and have grown to love as a destination. What is the first step in all of this?
Well, the first step is to get this debris out of the way and get the roads opened up so our residents and business owners can come back and assess their property and start the process of rebuilding. The next step in conjunction with that will be to get the utilities back on, because right now there's no power, no water, no sewer. Once we can get that taken care of, have some comforts to deal with, and then we'll start the rebuilding process. We were already well under our way. Some of our restaurants were ready to open before this came in, even after Elena. So we had 4 restaurants. The Circle K was open up at the north end and had gas. So our recovery was very quick from the last one, and I'm hoping we move at the same pace from this one.
Yeah, I think when we were looking around, I'm like, okay, so what's the damage from Helene? What's the damage from Milton? From Helene, it was the storm surge. From Milton, it's the wind damage we're seeing. And so unfortunately, like you said, you're seeing, there goes my hat, you're seeing the wind damage from all of this, from what Helene didn't ruin, now maybe Milton did.
Yeah, again, the damage is definitely different. We didn't have any roofs blown off or compromised from Elena, but with this one we do.
I know that there are some residents now sitting in their car on the other side of the bridge waiting to get back on. When do you think that these beaches will at least be open to residents?
I'm going to say it's going to be another day or two. It won't be, last time it took a week because the amount of sand that had to be moved, but that's not the issue right now. So I think we're going to move much quicker. But the Manatee County EOC has put the notice out that you don't be on the road if you don't need to be. And all three island cities and the town of Longboat Key have all told everybody that it's not ready to come back quite yet.
And when we're looking at the damage, I can see that the damage from Milton there, the down power lines, that's what you guys are dealing with out here.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing, is to make sure those power lines are secured. And then, like I said, get the roadway cleared, and we should be good to go.
Are you guys seeing any injuries or any fatalities?
No, and again, I've said this before, and I'm going to jinx myself. So far, we've had no injuries reported and no deaths.
People listen to the warnings.
They definitely. First time, it was a little iffy. This time, there was no question.
Nobody was chancing it with the storm surge levels that were being projected.
No, and when the order was issued at 2, by Monday at 2, Monday night, we were probably 95, 98%. Everybody was gone.
Well, and I think the key word for this community is resiliency, Chief, because that's what I am born and raised here. We've come together before, we'll come together again, and this place will rebuild.
Yeah, this is a very resilient little community, very tight-knit. So yeah, we'll definitely rebuild. No doubt in my mind.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, and that's basically the situation, guys, out here on Bradenton Beach. We know people who live out here want to get back onto the island, but guys, it's going to look like it's going to be another day or so until you can get out here.
Yeah, we know if that area has the resilience that you have, that tenacity, just like you, Jen, it's going to be all right. But something that stood out, Sarah, and other officials saying the beaches are going to be compromised. It's all going to be different.
Yeah, and Anna Maria Island, so much of the barrier islands, Jen, is a key part of our economy. Tourism drives our economy all across our state. Mm-hmm. I know the goal is to get it open as soon as possible, but it may take some time.
Yeah, and you heard the chief. They already had the 7-Eleven open out here. There was already gas back out here, and we saw that storm surge 4 to 5 feet high. So now with this wind damage, they're just hoping they'll continue that rebuilding process. They will get people back here out in the community, and this community will start to rebuild.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer Titus. I will say, when you see someone who's from the area giving firsthand accounts, talking to people in an area that she was raised in, I feel a connection to
it. Hits differently, doesn't it?
And so thank you, Jen, for all you're doing. I mean, these are people that you care about, just being from the area.
A personal connection with that situation there. We have so much video that's coming into our newsroom. I want to show you this right here, DeLand, Florida. A tree falling on a car. If you'll take a look at this video, brace yourself. Oh,
wow!
I wasn't ready. No. I was not ready for that. That's the threat that you face even at this hour, right, Sarah? Because they're saying stay out the way. That impaled the windshield. That's all it takes. It could be fatal. This is life-saving information that we're offering up.
Things like that could be deadly, but the good news in this situation, the driver is okay. It also blows my mind how we're able to get video of this. Like, they just had their camera on as that storm was falling, as the storm was going through, and the tree fell out in the car. Thank goodness that person is okay, but we're seeing a lot of this, trees covering roadways all across the Tampa Bay area. Crazy.
And to the untrained eye, that tree, if we could pull that up again, that tree looked to be just fine until it wasn't, right? It looked like any other tree. We can't pull that up. The tree looked to be just fine. You wouldn't know, but a little gust of wind topples over. That's all it really takes. We also have some rescues that we want to show you. This out of Clearwater. I'm not sure if this is the same complex that Miranda was at, friends. It is. Okay, so that's the same complex that Miranda was at with Clearwater Police and various other departments. conducting some rescues. This obviously from a little bit earlier this morning, but the situation there, people wading through troubled waters.
Yeah, video coming in from Clearwater Police Department letting us know that they are working right now to try to get to some of these people who called 911, but obviously crews were unable to get to them during the height of the storm because they were told to shelter in place and emergency services were not available. Now they're following up on some of these calls and they are able to rescue people, get some of the belongings, help their pets. And the good news is that they're getting out safe. I know it's been a long night for so many of you, so many of your loved ones in Clearwater. So if you're watching this and you're unable to check on them, water rescues are happening off of US 19, high water vehicles like that. Extra have been brought into our state so that crews can work to help people impacted by water and the rising water across our area. Seeing that both in Pinellas County and in portions of Hillsborough County as well.
Yeah, sifting through all these notes that officials have shared information with us so that we can help our friends at home and inform our friends beyond the borders of Florida. As you pointed out, people watching from all over the country just trying to get some feel for what's going on right here. But several crews stationed across the state to try and tend to that situation. I want to show you this right here, a video of the storm impact. This is in Sanford. And it looks like this gentleman right here is walking down what appears to be a road, right? It took some time a couple of weeks ago with Helene to be able to tell exactly what we were looking at as the water was receding, and then we could finally see the lanes in the road to tell us where we were.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that all across our area. And here in Sanford, Florida, as you get a look at that in Seminole County, it's located in Central Florida. So for people, if you're wondering where is Sanford, it is located there in that Orlando area, south of Deltona, off of I-4. And you can see the video. This is as that storm was moving to the east. We saw it come through the Tampa Bay area, and then it left a path of destruction along the way for drivers unable to get on the roadways. And we're seeing a lot of trees covering the roadways. And we're going to get continued look at what we have as crews are trying to assess all of the damage.
Really carved a path of destruction across the state there, and a little bit closer to home on this side of the coast. I want to show you this. So we've been talking about the Tropicana Field. Here's another vantage point for you right there. It looks like this is courtesy of Major League Baseball Network that we're showing you right here, but the roof was ripped to shreds. Almost struggling to find the words to describe what happened here, but you know, Milton ripping the dome off the Trop.
Yeah, a large portion of that roof torn off the Trop because of the storm, and it was set to be a refuge for thousands of storm personnel. And good news is that all of them have been accounted for. None of them were injured, and so we're going to be following the latest updates on what comes next. Tropicana Field, it's a staple here in the Tampa Bay area. When you're driving along 275, you see it, and it's become something that you know St. Pete. Like, hey, I'm in St. Pete now. Here's the Trop. It's been there for so many years.
Yeah, that landmarker right there. And I believe we said it. It was courtesy of Major League Baseball, courtesy of MLB. You see that sticker up in the top right corner right there. Sarah, we were just there a couple of weeks ago with our families.
Yeah, it does make you think, when was the last time I was there? Because it's not ever going to be the same.
No.
You know, I mean, they're in the rebuilding process, and that is going to take time, years. We'll be looking at that, as thank goodness nobody was hurt, but it is crazy to see how the Category 3 hurricane just ripped portions of that roof off, leaving it there in shambles.
And you think about that, the sustained wind, as we're talking about Category 3 winds, taking good notes here with our weather department as they give us information with Cat 3. At least 111 miles per hour winds sustained, and we heard the howling, and that's the end result.
Yeah. So that's what you're seeing there in St. Petersburg. We're also getting some information from our roadways. A lot of our roadways are being updated. Florida Department of Transportation showing us some looking at the traffic there. People are trying to get out and about.
I believe that's State Road 589 in Odessa right there, Sarah.
Okay, so that's where it is. If you're going to be driving through that portion of Hillsborough County, this is a look at Odessa, reminding people about the bridges that are open if you're going to be driving. We've got a lot of the bridges open except for the Courtney Campbell Causeway. So that includes the Skyway Bridge, the Howard Franklin Bridge, and Gandy Bridge all open. And the Courtney Campbell Causeway does remain closed because of debris.
And you pointed out those old school rules in terms of driving, right, when those lights are out.
Yeah, something to keep in mind. You're going to see a lot of traffic lights that are out all across Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And you need to treat it as a four-way stop. Approach the intersection, treat it as a four-way stop, let the person to the right of you go, and then you go.
It sounds so simple, because it is, right? I want to get back to some of these rescues that were taking place in Hillsborough County. Let's listen into this conversation.
Happening right now. We were out here with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue, our amphibious assets, along with our Marine unit. We're rescuing 107 elderly folks from the assisted living facility. See this type of flooding, especially in this type of area. The University of South Florida University area is normally a dry area. To see this unprecedented flooding, I can only imagine how scary it was. Please be careful. If you feel better, go on the dry ground. We can take you there. If we don't have our airboat, our John boat, these rafts, our amphibious vehicles, rescues like this don't happen.
Wow.
Sheriff Chronister has been everywhere, from
He
shelters
really has.
to parking lots that look like swamps.
Exactly. Sounding like a reporter happening right now. We are doing this
Yeah,
water rescue
well-versed.
underway. Yes, I mean, and ahead of the storm, we saw those healthcare facilities evacuated if they were in evacuation zone A, but this is not even in an area that was in one of those evacuation zones over by USF that is further inland. Many people booking up all those hotels we checked were booked ahead of the storm because that was a safe place.
And then some of the people actually at the hotels still recovering from Helene. I saw a flash of that on the graphic that our team put up just a moment ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I thought that said 135, more than 135 rescues.
Total rescues in Hillsborough County, right?
Hillsborough
or is
County.
that combined? Just at that one
At
facility.
that one facility.
Wow.
At that one, oh my goodness, yeah. So, and you saw one of the people on staff there, the lady that was helping him with those rescues, that water was up to her waist.
Scary moments for those people there. I mean, they don't have anywhere else to go. So thankfully, our first responders were able to get to them. And I know so many of their loved ones are wondering about what's going on with them. Good news is that the sheriff's office has been there and they're working to make sure everyone gets to safety.
Yeah, and the struggle is this real. People were standing out on their terrace for hours waiting to be rescued. Some of them standing out on the terrace probably looking at their vehicle that was submerged. I want to show you this right here, a new video of a depression that we're being told about. Okay, so the information that we're getting into our newsroom right here, Sarah, the depression opened in Hillsborough County.
Yeah, this is at Irish Moss Avenue and Pond Pine Drive. It is blocking residents, obviously, from getting out of their homes. So deputies are saying stay alert. Sinkholes can happen without warning. So right now, no word if this is a confirmed sinkhole, but it is listed as a depression. So we're going to be giving you more pictures like this as we continue to see roads across our Tampa Bay area just unable to withstand the wind and the water coming through.
So, Sarah, we show people the depression in the road. That is one problem as far as why folks should probably listen very closely to the instructions, stay out the way. And then we show the threat from above where it seems like the tree is fine until it impales a windshield.
Right, and people who cover this extensively, our team of meteorologists, Mike Prangley, I know you've dealt with depressions before, and we know that it is something that happens when these storms move through the area.
Yeah, in fact, when you're talking about, if you think about this, over the last 4 months, our area and many areas, okay, you see this yellow stripe, have had 2 years worth of rainfall. Okay, this was a drought. Remember we had a drought? Our weather team said, yeah, we're going to bust out of the drought this summer, but yeah, we weren't calling for 2 years worth of rain in 4 months. So take a look at this. Again, if you're driving, traveling, we're talking about retention ponds that have become more like rivers and big lakes out there. So we're going to be taking it easy, driving back and making sure we have the all clear. But Tampa to St. Pete, Lakeland up to Orlando, along I-4, I-95, Daytona Beach up into St. Augustine and St. John's. We're talking about some very heavy rain, and in many cases over 10 inches of rain to up to 20 inches of rain out there. So that could, yes, certainly cause that. We take a look at the big picture, our satellite radar composite. Milton's heading out. All right, so bye-bye. We don't want to talk about you again, Milton. Bye. Okay, Crystal River, Tampa, Sarasota, looking good. We'll have some increasing sunshine this afternoon. Now, there's been some rumors out there. So, you know, Sarah, and Frank, we just talking facts, all right? So don't believe all the rumors out in social media. There's no tropical threats anywhere close to home, nor do I see any. We take a look at the European model. Here's what's left of Milton. And if we do have anything out there, it's way out in the open Atlantic with Leslie. Okay, so Leslie will just kick up here and probably be with us for maybe another week or so. As we come back closer to home, though, you can see overall in the tropics, areas to watch this time of year. Usually we're still watching the Caribbean, but this Caribbean's been churned up by a couple of storms in 2 weeks, right? So it's going to be tough to really organize something here. And at the same time, we have even more high pressure involved in the southeast, bringing us some very nice weather. So yeah, disorganized thunderstorms all the way through Tuesday. And the big story this week isn't the tropics, it's the beautiful weather. High pressure, sunny weather from Tampa all up to Tallahassee, Chicago, just a big swath of just some gorgeous fall-like weather, really. In fact, for some of us, I'm not ruling out some 50s now looking at the long-range maps later next week, and that's especially up toward the Nature Coast. Tampa will still probably be in the 60s, but hey, a big change on the way, and it has nothing to do with the tropics. How about the humidity? Look at this trend. We're going to see that trend as our friend. Whenever you have a dew point of 59, yeah, that's a nice, comfortable feel up to it, right? And we'll have a little bit more humidity as we head toward Monday, but then another cold front comes in Tuesday, comfy and even nicer, and that's when we could drop those temperatures even lower. In fact, tonight, how about some starlit skies? And you ready for some sleep? Catching up on a little sleep out there? Okay, well, we've got good sleeping weather. Low 60s, 62 in Brooksville. Yeah, we made it all right. Yeah, 63 Dade City, Polk City, 66, Lakeland, 65, and then some mid to upper 60s from Apollo Beach to Bradenton and Sarasota. Looking out there right now, we're verifying the forecast here at 10 Tampa Bay. We got a fresh northwest wind bringing in this pattern change, a few fair weather cumulus, and that does include Lakeland. It's on the way. It's almost there. All right, you see some sunshine increasing across Lakeland, and we need it. So today we're just taking it easy. We've got that weather impact alert in effect till 2 o'clock. And we are watching that impact of the flooding continuing across the area, debris danger, rivers rising. Don't get in the water, power lines could be down, don't drive over the power lines, turn around, don't drown. So all that's in effect. So we need to hit the pump the brakes and hit the pause button today. We're going to stay put until given the all clear. And then tomorrow, some very slow improvements, and that'll continue through the weekend. Temperature-wise, again, we showed you the lows tonight. They could drop in the low 60s up toward the north. Yeah, today, how about some low to mid 70s on our way to a high near 80? And we'll keep the nice weather coming throughout the next 7 days. So some good cleanup weather.
All right, thank you, Mike. Keep that good stuff coming. Want to tell you about this update coming out of Pinellas County lifting its evacuation order. Wanted to pass that along. So important information for folks out there wondering and waiting.
Yeah, people want to get back to their homes, and I know a lot of people went out to the Polk County area to try to evacuate the storm and try to get away from harm's way. But we are seeing impacts of the storm there in Polk County. We want to go now to a phone interview that we have with the public information officer out there, Jeff Foley. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. What's the latest there?
Thank you for having us. So, you know, the sun is up and people want to get out and see the damage, and we are really just encouraging patience at this point. We want people to stay home, stay off the roads, and let the emergency folks do their work.
And we're looking at video that we're seeing that you guys had put out. We're seeing cars underwater there. You guys were concerned ahead of the storm, not necessarily asking for mass evacuations, but there was always a concern about flooding.
Yeah, so we had 6,500 folks in our shelters last night. This was a big storm. It was a tough night. You know, the eye of the hurricane passed right over the heart of Polk County, and we've got down trees and down power, and it hit people hard.
You know, the word that was used there, Jeff, by some of the other officials across the way was unprecedented. I imagine you've been in this space for some time dealing with emergency type situations. Unprecedented fits with this as well?
I think it does. I also think now the assessment stage starts. Now, starting this morning, our folks are out to see exactly how bad it is, where people need help. But this was an unprecedented storm. I mean, I've seen the same photos that you've seen, and it's frightening stuff. I'm praying that our people are okay, and I'm praying that they'll have the patience to let us get out and help them.
As far as what's being done right now, are any water rescues underway? Is the flooding receding? What are we seeing?
We do think the flooding is receding, and we have had water rescues happen, including some in the middle of the night. You know, Polk County staff and all of our community partners have been working around the clock for several days at this point. You know, so we had fire rescue folks out there helping people at 1 o'clock in the morning, probably when it was dangerous for them to be out there doing so, but they're taking care of their community.
Wow, 1 o'clock. I was just comparing that to the time that was shared in Pinellas County because they said around 3 o'clock in the morning is when they were able to get out and about. But You guys did the best you could in the midst of that storm and tried to remain safe as you were doing the same.
Absolutely. You know, like I said, I think it was a really tough night for Polk County. We got hit pretty hard, but our residents are tougher. I think we will come through this together.
Is there a specific part of Polk County that is hit worse than others right now?
I think our north side has gotten hit with the flooding a little bit more significantly, but honestly, we are in that evaluation stage at the moment to see where the worst damage is.
North side rural areas like Kathleen, north of I-4, or just?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Kathleen, yes.
Wow.
And Jeff, I understand that image of that SUV. You can't see it, but we've been throwing it up for our viewers to see out there. That flooding took place before the storm made landfall.
Correct, yeah. And it got worse. It was an eerie, hard night. But, you know, at this point, we really want people to stay off the roads. You don't need to go and see the damage. You don't need to take pictures. And we want them, if they use generators, to make sure that they use them safely, keep them away from their homes. As I'm sure you've probably heard multiple times this morning, as many deaths happen after the hurricane as do during the hurricane. So now is not the time to let your guard down.
We've heard it multiple times, Jeff, but one more time can't hurt. What should folks do, and keep in mind with their generators, as many people are out there, thousands of people without power. How should they handle that properly? A couple of bullet points for them.
Yeah, so we have 40% of our county is without power. Those generators cannot be in your garage. They need to be in an outdoor ventilated space. And if you are going to refill them with gas, make sure you turn them off and let them cool down first. And do not connect them to your home unless you've had the help of a professional electrician. Otherwise, the folks that come and try to restore your power may pay a price for it.
When it comes to, you were telling us 6,000 people taking advantage of the shelters you all had available. What's up with that today? Are they able to go home? Are there areas of Polk County that are inaccessible?
We are definitely, again, we're in that assessment stage, but we're definitely not sending anyone home yet until we know more. The shelters are open and operating.
Okay, that's
good. And still open to taking people in as well.
That's great.
If you don't mind, I'd love to share our citizens information line.
Of course.
Please, yeah.
So it's 863-298-7500. We can't help with power outages or utility issues at that number, but hurricane recovery and direction to resources, that's the perfect number. And we're asking our residents not to call 911 unless it's a life-threatening situation.
Jeff, one more time, please, sir. 863-298?
7500, and that's our citizens information line. It rings right here to our emergency operations center where there's 100 people working around the clock.
100 people, again, friends at home and beyond. 863-298-7500. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know it's busy for you and yours. We'll let you get back to it, and we'll holler at you a little bit later.
Yeah, thank you. Jeff Foley, Public Information Officer with Polk County.
Great information there. I want to get back to Jenny Dean. She's in Brandon, giving us updates around the clock on the situation down there. Jenny.
I'm standing in the middle of Morgan Street. This is about 1 block from Brandon Boulevard in Brandon, and in the distance there you can see Parsons Avenue, which is a pretty main street. A lot of people who live out this area know, but check out all of this water blocking this street that should go right on through to Parsons. There's also a tree down in the middle of the road. I was able to chat quickly with one of the neighbors who was out surveying the damage. He said in 22 years that he's lived here, he has never seen water come up like this. There is a retention pond, and it's likely due to it just overflowing from so much water coming down at one time. Now, we are seeing a ton of traffic out on Brandon Boulevard, and that is exactly what the Sheriff's Office is asking people not to do, because it's dangerous. There are a ton of stoplights out, and people are kind of not really knowing what to do, even though you're supposed to treat it as a four-way stop. But we're also hearing a lot of emergency sirens as well. So we know people are either getting into accidents or getting into trouble because there are first responders heading out with their sirens blaring. So this is one of those situations where you need to try and get with your neighbors, stay close to your neighborhood, try not to be driving out on the main thoroughfares. There are so many trees down, and neighborhoods just like this one flooded out here in the Brandon area, out in eastern Hillsborough. So everybody just needs to try and stay calm, Nothing is really open. There are a few gas stations here and there, but stores and restaurants are generally closed. So other than just sort of getting in the way, there's really no reason to be out on the roads right now. In Brandon, Jenny Dean, 10 Tampa Bay.
Oh my goodness, a huge cleanup going to be taking place. We're seeing that all across Tampa Bay, downed trees. We're seeing lots of power outages. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office helping with water rescues in parts of the area. They're also sending, they putting out on social media severe flooding and damage in portions of Tampa, Hillsborough Avenue, and Del Mabry. That's where Stadium Toyota is. And I can see in this picture here, we'll probably pull it up later, but that the cars there in the parking lot of the car dealership partially covered with water.
No doubt. Our team will get on top of that, but that is an incredible image that you pulled up right there, Sarah.